My boyfriend warned me not to go but didn't hear to him. Here's a scary story for a girl who went to a haunted house. As soon as Emily walked into the creepy old mansion, she knew she was in for a terrifying experience. The house loomed above her, its tall spires and turrets reaching towards the moon like skeletal fingers. The sign above the door creaked in the wind, reading Madame Leroux's haunted house in faded letters. Emily had always been skeptical of ghost stories and haunted houses, but her friends had convinced her to come along. They had promised it would be fun, that it was just a silly attraction with fake scares and pretending ghosts. But as she stepped inside, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The group of friends made their way through the winding corridors, passing by cobweb-covered portraits and dusty antique furniture. The air was thick with the scent of decay and rot, and Emily's skin crawled with every creak of the wooden floorboards. As they turned a corner, Emily caught a glimpse of a figure out of the corner of her eye. She spun around, but there was no one there. "What was that?" she whispered to her friends, but they just laughed and teased her for being scared. The group continued on, entering a room filled with old dolls and toys. Emily shuddered as she gazed upon the glassy-eyed dolls, their stitched-on smiles seeming to mock her. Suddenly, one of the dolls began to move, its limbs twitching and jerking like a puppet on a string. Emily screamed as the doll's eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. Her friends laughed and cheered, thinking it was part of the show, but Emily knew better. She knew that something was very wrong. As they made their way deeper into the house, the strange occurrences grew more frequent. Doors slammed shut on their own, and disembodied voices whispered in Emily's ear. She began to feel like she was being pulled toward some dark and sinister force, one that lurked in the shadows and waited for its next victim. Finally, the group entered a grand ballroom, the chandelier above them casting flickering shadows on the walls. In the center of the room, a lone figure stood, shrouded in darkness. Emily felt a chill run down her spine as the figure began to move, its presence drawing closer and closer. Suddenly, the lights flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. Emily was trapped, surrounded by the oppressive darkness and the unseen forces that lurked within. She heard footsteps, heavy and deliberate, growing louder with each passing moment. And then, a voice whispered in her ear, its icy breath sending shivers down her spine. "You should not have come here," it hissed. "Now you will never leave." As the darkness closed in around her, Emily realized that she was trapped in Madame Leroux's haunted house, forever doomed to roam its twisted corridors and face the terrors that lurked within. I hope you enjoyed the story.